You asked, I answered. Welcome to part 2 of this Q&A series where I tackle your biggest car detailing questions. If you thought part 1 was good, wait until you hear what's coming up today. Welcome to another episode of Pan the Organizer. We've got more tips, myth busting, and game-changing advice to take your detailing skills to the next level. And if you missed part 1, don't worry, I'll link it down below so you can check it out after this. Just check the video description. And trust me, you don't want to miss the last question. It's one of the most debated topics in detailing. So let's jump right in. And by the way, guys, don't worry, I'll leave the links to any products, tools, and equipment that I talk about in this video. I'll leave those linked in the description under the video for you guys to check them out. So all you have to do is sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. So let's start right off with question number 1. Should I wax my paint before applying a ceramic coating? The answer is no, absolutely not. Ceramic coatings, the ones in glass bottles, they need to bond directly to a virgin clear coat. So the important thing with that is to make sure you have no protection on the clear coat before you apply your coating. That's why we go through all the steps, right, to prep the paint. So to wash the vehicle, to use an iron decontamination, a tar remover if you have tar deposits, then a clay stage to remove any other embedded contaminations, machine polishing, crucial. It's the only way to ensure 100% removal of previous protection is by machine polishing. And then a panel prep spray. What is a panel prep spray? It's basically an alcohol-based solution, sometimes like the Clean by Pan, the Organizer panel prep spray. You also have additional components like surfactants in there to help bring up the polishing oils and residue and eliminate them off the surface, because polishing oils can sometimes intervene or interfere with the proper bonding of the coating. And then you have squeaky clean paint, and then you apply the ceramic coating. So oftentimes when people apply a wax is a very short kind of durability product. Typically carnauba wax is 1 to 3 months perhaps. But what they do is they prevent bonding, right? Because on top of your clear coat, you're applying a wax, and then the coating itself is trying to bond to a substance that eventually will kind of dissipate, and that is made to reject. It's hydrophobic, right? So that coating won't be able to bond directly to the paint that's underneath. So never apply wax before you apply ceramic coatings. Always follow the instructions of the coating manufacturer from which you purchased your ceramic coatings, and you will see none of them ever say to wax your car before you apply a ceramic coating. Question number 2, do I always have to start with a compound and finish with a polish when I'm doing paint correction? The answer is no. It depends on the state of your paint. Now, if you have very deep swirls, deep scratches, and heavy oxidation, right? Oxidation is kind of that milky appearance on the clear coat, that faded appearance from the UV rays. Over time, the oxidation from the rays creates that kind of haze on the surface. It's not as clear. You don't see that color as much. It's very obvious on red cars. Over time, they become pink. That is oxidation. So if you have a lot of swirls, a lot of scratches, they're very deep, you can almost feel them with your fingernails, right? Or you have that heavy oxidation, you would of course start with a compound, which is a more aggressive style of polish because the abrasives are bigger, and you would use a cutting pad. It can be a wool pad, a microfiber pad, whatever pads you have. We have some great ones in the Clean by Pan, the Organizer lineup, by the way. So you would start with that cutting stage to remove the majority of the bigger and deep defects and that heavy oxidation. And then you finish off with a refining stage, which is the machine polishing. Some call it jeweling. So basically the smaller abrasives to refine the surface, remove the sanding marks from the compound stage, improve depth, improve clarity, and improve gloss at the polishing stage. So you would use a polishing pad like the Clean by Pan blue foam polishing pad, and with your polish, and you polish the vehicle, and then that's a 2-step paint correction, right? Because you started with a compound and you finish with a polish. However, if you only have light defects on your paint, some very light swirls, some very light scratches, or just some love marks like light marring, but there's no oxidation and the paint generally looks good, you can skip the compound stage and just go directly to the polishing stage. So again, your polish, so polishing liquid or spray, with your polishing pad, and that's called a 1-step paint correction, and that's it, you're done. So you don't always have to start with a compound. Assess the state of your paint, and you can also do a few test spots, right? So try a 2x2 section, for example, and then try which compound or polish combo with which pad combo would be the best for your specific paint and level of defects and desired level of paint correction, because not all paints are the same. By the way, we decided to simplify things in the Clean by Pandy Organizer lineup. We have the spray polish. So this one here can act as a compound if you pair it with a cutting pad, or as a polish if you pair it with a polishing pad. And it's a very, very simple. It removes basically the guesswork and gets you the majority of the way there. There are certain situations in 5% of the cases with crazy deep swirls or scratches that you'd want a dedicated heavier cut compound, for example. But for the majority of people out there, one product is likely all you'll need. You pair it up with the wool cutting pad that we have in the Clean lineup, and you can pair it up with the blue foam polishing pad or the white jeweling foam pad that we have in the lineup. Only 3 pads, 1 spray polish, that's it. It should get you 90 to 95% of any job possibilities there, so you would enjoy the simplicity of using this. It cuts quickly, it finishes nicely, it doesn't do any dusting, smells great even, and yeah, it doesn't leave any lingering residue. So very, very light oils, but nothing that, no fillers in there. It's body shop safe, because there's no Teflon in there and a bunch of crap that we wouldn't want. And just panel prep spray once you're done to remove any lingering residue, and that's it. You can start applying your ceramic coating. Question number 3. I had a ceramic coating applied last year and now the water isn't beating. Does that mean that my coating is dead? So there's 2 angles to this. First of all, you have to know what is the average durability for your product. For example, if it's just a 1-year coating and it lasted a year, that's pretty good. But if it's, for example, a 5-year coating and after a year it started to fail, assuming that you did the proper prep, the proper application, and you did decent maintenance, right? We're removing those factors out of the equation, it should still be there. So typically coatings are not bulletproof, right? What can happen over time is they can get things that build up on top that regular washing will not remove, and you have to address with chemicals. So we call that masking or clogging the coating. It can be one of 2 general ways, either the greasy oil film or road film or traffic film, depending on where you live, how you call it, that accumulates over time. Don't forget, when it's raining outside, all that rain goes on the tarmac or the asphalt, and it brings up all the oils and crap that's on the road. You're going to splash that on your vehicle. And once that dries off, it creates a film build over time that maybe not all pH neutral soaps can remove as good as they are. So sometimes you need more specialized higher pH or alkaline snow foams or shampoos to combat road film. So especially as part of the pre-wash, that's a good step to do, and that will help to unclog the coating. So if that did the trick and you restored your hydrophobic properties, you're good to go. So the coating was only masked at that point. So the other form of clogging or masking of the coating properties is through mineral deposits. So it can be through many things, line scale accumulation. You live in winter months like here in Montreal, Canada, they use road salts on the road, so that can build up stuff that maybe some shampoos or pH neutral can't remove. Or you get water spot accumulation, and those mineral deposits, they need an acidic type product, either a mineral deposit remover or an acidic soap, to help remove that line scale and mineral buildup from the surface, and that should also help restore the hydrophobics. So you can try the high pH if you have road film, you can try the low pH if you have mineral buildup, and usually that can restore. I have a winter wash tutorial on my channel which goes through all that if you want to check that out, using high pH and low pH stuff to remove different contaminants, and you're going to see how easily it restores a ceramic coating behavior. So before assuming that the coating is dead, try those decontamination steps and see if that restores your hydrophobic properties, meaning the tight round water beads and the quick water sheeting. So the water, how quickly it sheds off the paint. Question number 4, can I take my car to an automatic car wash? So that's up to you to decide. So the answer technically is yes, but I would recommend against that. Why? Typically, automatic car washes, they use caustic soaps, so very harsh chemicals. Most of them are very, very high pH. And yes, pH doesn't always tell the story. However, it's the quality of the components that are in there. So to maximize their profits, they're going to use very harsh, cheap chemicals to clean your car. Again, this is just generally speaking. There are some automatic car washes out there. I'm sure the owners are more sensitive to this and they'll use higher quality stuff. So maybe inform yourself with the owner of the car wash and see what their philosophy is. If they don't know what you're talking about or what you're asking and they don't have answers, maybe perhaps go look elsewhere. So that what can happen also if they use those harsh chemicals, if you have a wax or a paint sealant, those are not typically high resistance to chemicals type protections. So it's going to start breaking those down, stripping them off, and you're losing that protection. Even on good quality ceramic coatings that are much higher in chemical resistance, over time, always bombarding them with super harsh, strong chemicals will weaken even the best ceramic coatings. Now, the worst car washes are the ones with rollers, because the mechanical abrasion of those brushes on your surface will definitely cause marring, scratches, and swirls over time, because abrasion is what causes the scratches and the swirls. And it will also start stripping and breaking down even your ceramic coatings, because again, abrasion will remove even the best coatings. When you're machine polishing your ceramic coating, you're removing it. So that abrasion polishes paint over time, but creates those swirls, those scratches, and mechanically abrades and can damage the protection and eventually strip it. So I would recommend against that. So wash your car at home, or go to a self-serve car wash. If the owner allows you to bring your own stuff, bring your buckets. I have a video on that, how you can wash your car in a self-serve car wash. Fantastic tutorial that I made in collaboration with Chelsea from another YouTube channel, Attention to Details with Chelsea. So that was a fantastic one. Or if you have the option, I'd rather you guys go maybe once a month to bring your car to a professional detailer that knows what they're doing. They're using quality products rather than using the car wash every week, right? The automatic car wash. So always keep that in mind. Those are my personal recommendations and thoughts and opinions. Question number 5, can I use a quick detailer to remove the dust off my paint? So technically, yes. However, again, I would be very careful in doing so. So a quick detail spray will add lubrication on the surface, and if you're gentle with a plush enough towel and you're gently swiping that off, if it's only lightly layered with dust, it can be okay. However, there might be a part of your towel that is not covered with that quick detailer, or a part of the paint that is not. And if you're doing some dry wiping, so a dry section of the towel on the dry paint, and you accidentally drag that dust around, you can induce some marring. So quick detail sprays can be good for light touch-ups, or if you get a bird dropping, for example, a bird bomb, saturate the surface, let it dwell, take a plush towel and then remove it. Of course, the best way is always to wash your car, but if you're in a pinch or somewhere, you can use a quick detail spray in that situation. But to clean an entire vehicle with quick detail spray, you're wasting a lot of product, and again, you might induce some dry rubbing, which can induce some marring. So the safer alternative to that is to use a rinseless wash. So if you're not in a position where you can use a garden hose or a pressure washer, the rinseless wash, like the Clean by Pan, the Organizer rinseless wash, is a much safer option, because you would mix this in your bucket, right? 256:1 dilution ratio, so half an ounce for every gallon, or 15 mils to every 3.79 liters of water. You mix your dilution in your bucket, then you would take your pump sprayer, fill the container in it, not to the top because you want to leave some space for the air, but add that into your container, pre-spray the vehicle with your rinseless wash. So now you're encapsulating and lifting that light layer of dirt off the surface, and then you're doing the contact wash with your microfiber towels or your rinseless wash sponge, depending whatever wash media you're using in that situation. And then that is the safer way, because you have a bunch of lubrication on the surface that was made for that, and you're not dry rubbing the dirt and dust. So I wouldn't necessarily, again, do an entire vehicle with a quick detail spray and a microfiber towel if it's only lightly dusty. That's up to you to decide, but at least know that there is some potential for marring, so be careful if you do that. But of course, the best way to remove dust is washing your car the traditional way with a shampoo, buckets, and mitts, or the rinseless wash method, which I much prefer. Question number 6, can I just use one polish and one type of pad for any paint? Now, the general answer to that would be no. Why? Because all paints are different. Even in the same manufacturer, in the same production year, sometimes car manufacturers change paint suppliers for whatever reason, short supply chain issues, whatever it may be, and they can switch paints, and you can go from a soft clear coat to a hard clear coat or a medium clear coat or whatever it may be. So there's different, I don't want you to worry about that too much. That's why we do test spots right before you start polishing. So to find the ideal combination of compound or polish and what type of pad for your specific paint, your types of defects, and your level of desired paint correction. Now, that being said, it doesn't always have to be super complicated. Unless you're a professional and a customer pays you for a 2-step or a 3-step complicated paint correction over multiple days sometimes, or tens of hours of work on a vehicle. For the average DIYer, they want a simple solution. And in the Clean by Pan, the Organizer lineup, we came up with something that is very advanced. So the Clean by Pan, the Organizer Spray Polish, this has the latest advanced polishing packages inside there. But the cool thing is one product pretty much covers the majority of the ground. So it's going to get you 90 to 95% of the jobs done. So there's only some situations sometimes where you get some very, very deep swirls and scratches, crazy oxidation that you need a heavier cut compound. But for the majority of people out there, one product does it all. So if you use it with a cutting pad, it can act as a compound. If you use it with a polishing pad, it can act as a polish. So one spray, we have 3 pads in the Clean by Pandy Organizer lineup, a wool cutting pad for the compound stage. We have a blue foam polishing pad, as known as a one-step, if you want to use it just for a light polish. And then we have a white foam waffle jeweling pad if you want to just finesse that and get even more gloss out of your paint. But yeah, one spray and those 3 pads will get you the majority of the things done. So it removes guesswork. Check out the videos I have on my channel on it. It doesn't have to be overly complicated, right? We want to get people to enjoy detailing. And unless you're a professional and you're looking for all the minutiae, this system will get a lot of that work done and quickly too, because it cuts fast, it finishes nicely, smells amazing, doesn't have any fillers, and it's safe in the body shop. So yeah, exactly, pretty cool. Question number 7. Is it better to apply a snow foam on a wet or a dry car? Here, I wouldn't overthink the moment. Either or will still be fine. I have a video on that. For me, in my conditions, I found that doing it on a dry surface usually works a little better. For one of the major reasons that you're not, first of all, diluting the product on the surface. So if you pre-sprayed your vehicle with water, right, you pre-rinsed, and then you spray the snow foam on, not all snow foams will cling to a wet surface, so they'll start dripping down a bit quicker, so you might have a bit less dwell time, and you might be slightly diluting it because there's already water on the surface. Not that much, right? It's not like you're overly diluting it, but you're still doing a slight dilution factor. But I find personally that pre-spraying on a dry vehicle first will help to help that snow foam or the shampoo to cling on the surface better, work a little longer, help to encapsulate, lift all that dirt and grime, and then you rinse off, and then you move on with the rest of your steps for the contact wash, right? So yeah, I prefer on a dry paint, but don't overthink the moment. Do what works for you. You can try both, right? Try a day with pre-rinsing and then snow foam, and then try another day with snow foaming on a dry surface and see how that works for you, because different conditions, different products that you're using can work differently as well. Do some investigative work. That's what I like to do. I like to do some testing and see what works best for you in your conditions with the products and tools that you're using. Question number 8. So I have a brand new car. How long do I have to wait before being able to wax it or apply some form of paint protection? Well, on a brand new car delivered from the dealership, the answer is right away. Don't forget, those cars at the factory, when they're being built, once they're painted, they're cured in commercial ovens at very high temperatures. So when the car, by the time it makes it to you, when it's delivered, that paint has fully cured. So I would protect the car as soon as you take delivery. When I take delivery of a brand new car, I bring it home. I spend 10 to 12 hours prepping and doing all the polishing work and then application of the ceramic coating, all that good stuff. But from day one, the earlier you start protecting your new car, the better it will look over the years and the longer it will last as far as a visual appearance is concerned. So yeah, on a brand new vehicle, right away, you can start applying whatever paint protection you want, a wax, a paint sealant, a ceramic coating, a ceramic spray sealant, whatever it may be, depending on what you're looking for. Number 9. So I have a freshly repainted car. How long do I have to wait before I can apply some paint protection? That's a very good question. So on repainted vehicles, whether it's the entire vehicle or on repainted panels, if you had an accident, for example, you went to a body shop, they repainted your hood or a fender or just a section of the vehicle, there is a phenomenon of what we call off-gassing or outgassing of the paint. So what that basically is, it's when solvents and chemicals from that paint, they start to evaporate or release themselves as it cures, right? So in those body shops, don't forget, they don't have the crazy ovens that car manufacturers have at the factory where they build the vehicles. So they'll either have some small kind of IR heaters or lamps that they're going to use, or maybe some smaller, lower scale ovens, whatever it may be. But when you have a freshly repainted surface, that surface typically takes 1 to 2 months to fully cure. So although it looks shiny when you get it, well, again, that paint is going to continue to outgas or off-gas over the month or 2 months that you have it. So to release the chemicals and solvents that evaporate slowly and then get in the air, Well, you don't want to prevent that by applying a wax or a sealant or a coating that's going to lock that in. You can get some bubbling, you can get some reaction. It won't fully cure properly, and the protection that you're applying on it won't properly bond as well. So when you have a freshly repainted vehicle, wait 1 to 2 months for that full cure to happen, and then you can apply some protection. Now, during that month or 2 months when you're waiting, can you still wash your car? Yes. Don't use a wax-based shampoo. Get a shampoo that has no protection in it and stick to pH neutral, safe on the paint type shampoos. For example, like the Clean by Pan, the Organizer shampoo. So when you're putting this in your bucket, this is pH neutral. So super safe, safe on waxes, sealants, and ceramic coatings. But this is also a perfect maintenance shampoo. If you have a repainted vehicle, for example, well, you can wash your repainted vehicle during that month or 2 with this. That's all you do though. Don't apply any protection when you're done washing the vehicle. Also, don't wash your vehicle in direct sunlight when it's a freshly repainted vehicle, because you don't want that sun expansion, contraction of the chemical to have an effect on the paintwork, right? So wash the vehicle in the shade or in a garage and work on cool surfaces. So next question, number 10. So why am I getting tons of tire sling when I'm applying my tire dressing? So when you applied a tire dressing, what is tire sling? That's the black dots of the dressing that splashes onto your paint. If you have a lighter paint, a lighter colored paint, you maybe have seen that over time. So typically the reasons for that is perhaps you're using a solvent-based dressing. Some of them are greasier in appearance because they give out more of that gloss, right? So petroleum-based kind of products, they're more, they're more oily on the surface, and those tend to sling more than water-based dressings. However, the majority of the time when you're getting slinging, it's from improper prep of the tire. So the tire dressing itself cannot bond correctly to the rubber, so it just stays on top. And as you're rolling around, well, all the dirt and the grime that accumulates, plus the dressing itself that isn't fully cured on the tire, will splash all over the place. So to prevent that, it's to do a proper tire prep. Use a tire cleaner or a wheel and tire cleaner to degrease that surface. And typically you know you're done when you're spraying it on. You're going to let it dwell a bit. Use a stiff nylon bristle brush or a tire brush to scrub the tire sidewall. And you should see at that point, you're going to look at the foam it generates. If that foam is still brown and dirty, do a second round. So rinse that off, spray the wheel and tire cleaner or the tire cleaner again on the rubber, brush again until that foam becomes white. That's when you know you fully removed whatever old protection was on there, because that's another reason you get tire slinging. If you're applying a dressing on top of an old dressing, well, that again is not going to bond properly to the rubber and you're going to get tire sling. So degrease, prep the tire properly. It should feel nice and homogeneous. It should look very nice and an even finish. If you get a lot of that browning and blooming, that's also natural, right? Those are the ozonites that are inside the rubber. That's what prevents the rubber fading, cracking, protection against the UV rays, all those kinds of things. But those ozonites or antioxidants, they migrate to the surface and they give that tire blooming, so that browning. So you don't want to, of course, remove everything that's on there, but you want to remove the dirt and grime and prep the surface correctly. So use, again, a tire prep or a wheel and tire cleaner to get your tires evenly clean. Remove that old dressing. Make sure the tire is fully dry. And then when you're done, you can apply your tire dressing. Also, use a quality dressing that will not sling. Often the manufacturers, they tell you when a tire dressing will not sling. And one of them, for example, the Clean by Pan, the Organizer tire dressing. This one here is solvent-based. However, it has many qualities inside it. Solvent-based, why? Because we wanted more durability. But it has many qualities inside it that doesn't make it sling, because it actually cures and bonds onto the surface, unlike some dressings that are only sitting on top of the rubber. So this will give you many weeks, up to a month of protection. It has great resistance to chemicals, so it can resist a few rounds of a tire cleaner if you so desire to use one when you're doing the application of this for maintenance, for example. And it has some great hydrophobics. So it creates a barrier, so a hydrophobic layer to repel water and dust and dirt and make the cleaning of your tires much easier. But again, this dries to the touch. So when you're done applying this, you go around your vehicle. 10 minutes later, you can drive off in the elements, no problem. If you can wait an hour, it's even better, but after 10 minutes, it should be dry to the touch, and it's going to give you a satin sheen. So not overly glossy or oily looking, but not matte where you don't even see a dressing. So it's that perfect Goldilocks level of tire shine, I find, and I really like it, but it lasts many, many weeks, and you guys are going to love it. And so, yeah, that's to prevent tire sling. Make sure you prep the tire correctly. Just like you would prep your paint before applying a ceramic coating, the same applies to tires. Prep your surface correctly, and then the protection is going to bond correctly on it, and you're going to get much better results. Question number 11, is the pre-wash or the snow foam just for beauty and show, or does it actually accomplish anything? That's a great question. And again, I had a video on that on my channel, but I think it's safe to say now more and more people out there are educated on what snow foams actually do compared to many years ago, where people just thought that having that foam is just for beauty and show and it actually doesn't accomplish anything. What we know now is that snow foaming your vehicle for the pre-wash stage with your foam cannon or a foaming pump sprayer, so blanketing the vehicle with that layer of foam, will start to lift, encapsulate a bit of that loose dirt and debris, but it acts as lubrication on the surface for you to rinse all of that off before your contact wash. So what the pre-wash does with the snow foam is it ensures you remove the majority of that grit correctly and safely before the contact wash. So a lot of that loose dirt and debris, if you were just to go and start rinsing it off, it's not enough to remove that. And then you move to your contact wash, you're moving that dirt and debris on the surface, and well, you could potentially damage your paint. Or if you're just spraying, pre-rinsing your vehicle with no snow foam or lubrication on the surface, you're spraying a high pressure jet of water on dirt and you're moving that dirt around, so that can also lead to potential marring on the surface. So by adding that layer of lubrication, you're letting it dwell, you're encapsulating, lifting that dirt and debris that's loose, you're rinsing that off safely because there's lubrication on the surface, and then you can refoam again and do the contact wash. So you're always having lubrication, you're reducing the chances of marring when you're doing your bucket wash with your microfiber or wool mitt or whatever wash media that you're using. So no, pre-washes are very important to reduce the marring during the contact wash. So that's number one. Number two, there are some dedicated snow foams for the pre-wash that also have a higher cleaning potential. So if you were to just use a neutral shampoo, some of them, like the Clean by Pan, have very good degreasing capabilities and they do a great job at cleaning the car. So you can use this for regular maintenance and that's fantastic. But there are situations sometimes where you might need a higher pH if you have road film accumulation, or a lower pH or acidic shampoo or snow foam if you have mineral deposit, line scale, or water spots to remove, right? So for those specialty situations, we have high pH and low pH soaps. So that pre-wash stage now becomes important for that specific scenario. So if you have a lot of road film buildup, for example, on your vehicle, you can pre-wash with an alkaline snow foam to help start break that down, or some bug guts or some grime or some oils that accumulated. That's perfect for that scenario. If you know you have you're in the winter, you have a lot of mineral deposits, road salts, or you just have a few water spots that you want to remove, or there's lime scale buildup or something that's clogging your coating as far as minerals is concerned, well, you can start with the pre-wash with an acidic type pre-wash snow foam or shampoo, and that will start breaking that down. So again, the pre-wash stage in that case is very good. So for two reasons, I think pre-washes are amazing. So it's going to help reduce the marring and scratching on your paint by removing that loose dirt and debris or that grit. So all you're left with is a light film when you're doing your contact wash, but you removed the grit, so that's good. And number two, for some chemical type agitation or action on the surface to help with road film or to help with mineral deposit buildup, all those kinds of things. So yeah, I think we fully understand at this point that pre-wash steps are very important and they're actually beneficial. Even if you're using something neutral, right? I still would start, let's say you don't have much traffic film or mineral deposits, but you just want to wash your car with something pH neutral like the Clean by Pan, the Organizer shampoo. Well, this you can still use in a foam cannon. It's not a dedicated snow foam, so it's not meant for the heavier use pre-washing, but for your regular washes, you can absolutely blanket your vehicle with this in a foam cannon. We recommend a 1:10 dilution ratio, 1 part of product to 10 parts of water. You can adjust depending on your scenario of what foam cannon you're using, what pressure washer you're using, your water quality, all that good stuff. What foam cannon again. So 1:10 is a good starting point. You blanket your vehicle, let it dwell a bit, then you rinse off. So at least you lubricated the surface when you were doing the pre-wash with this in the foam cannon. You remove the majority of the loose dirt and debris, and then this in your bucket, 1/2 ounce for every gallon of water, or 15 milliliters for every 3.79 liters. So for example, if you mix a 4-gallon bucket, you're using 2 ounces, or if you're having a 15 liters in your bucket, you're using 60 mils of this, milliliters. So very, very simple, great lubrication, smells amazing. You can use it in direct sunlight. It rinses off freely, doesn't leave any residue. It's just fantastic to use. So yes, I believe the pre-wash with the foam cannon or a foaming pump sprayer, if you don't have a pressure washer and foam cannon setup, you can use use a pump sprayer, it does the same thing. It just needs more pumping action, and you're not going to get the same great foaming results as you would with a full pressure washer and foam cannon setup. But that's the point, is moved beyond that point at this point. You're still doing a pre-wash. So yes, I think it is important, and it has its place in one's detailing routine. Wow, what a ride. That wraps up the special 2-part Q&A where I answered some of your most common detailing questions. I hope this helped you take care of bringing your detailing game up a notch. And if you still have questions, drop them in the comment section. I'm always reading them, and who knows, your question might be featured in a future video. But the learning doesn't stop here. If you want even more expert tips, check out my playlist on Detailing 101, all the basics of car detailing. With over 1,000 videos on my channel, there's something for everyone. Thanks for being there, thanks for watching, and in the meantime, don't forget, keep it tight, keep it clean, and I'll see you on the next one.